Africa is the second biggest continent in the world, right after Asia. It has lots of people living there. Scientists find many new things there that make them think differently about where humans came from. There are strange discoveries in Africa that are both interesting and scary. Here are 15 of those mysteries that no one can figure out. Number 15. The Sacred Crocodiles of Bizu. Crocodiles are scary animals, but in a little village called Bizu in Burkina Faso, people hang out with them. There are more than 100 crocodiles in a pond near the village. A long time ago, when there was no water because of a drought, the crocodiles showed the women a secret pond. This pond helped everyone in the village get water. The crocodiles are really important to the village. When one dies, they bury it like a person and have a funeral. People in Burkina Faso believe that if something bad will happen, the crocodiles make loud sounds. The elders try to understand these sounds and make wishes to stop bad things from happening. Many tourists visit the village because of this special connection between people and crocodiles. But now, because of climate change, the pond where the crocodiles live is getting smaller. People worry about what will happen to the crocodiles and if they'll find a new home. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video before we begin. Number 14. A new human spay. Scientists have been trying to solve puzzles about how humans changed over time. In 2013, lots of old bones were found in a cave in South Africa. These bones hinted that a totally new kind of human might have lived there. It was a big discovery because they found more of these bones than ever before in Africa. The bones were a mix of modern and old traits, which surprised everyone. The explorers found the first bones in a hard-to-reach part of the cave. Other bones found in a different part of the cave had traits that were both like humans and not like humans. These little-brained humans lived a long time ago, between 236,000 and 335,000 years back. They had hands, wrists, and feet that were similar to ours. They probably walked like us, but their shoulders and fingers suggest they could also climb trees well. Since finding these new humans, there are many new questions. People wonder how their bones ended up in that cave, and how they survived among other, smarter humans. This discovery has made people rethink how humans evolved and where we come from. Number 13. The Erie Lake Natron. If you visit Lake Natron in Tanzania, you'll see its pretty red and pink colors. But there's more to this lake than meets the eye. It's near the border with Kenya. The lake gets water from springs full of minerals, making it very alkaline with a pH between 9 and 10.5. The water is so strong that it can hurt animals' skin and eyes if they're not used to it. The shallow water gets as hot as 140 degrees Fahrenheit and is very salty, which can harm most animals when there's little rain. When the water level drops, it leaves salt islands where birds make nests. Animals that die in the lake turn into statues because of a process called calcification. We're not sure why animals die here, but one idea is that the shiny water confuses birds, causing them to crash into it. The high sodium bicarbonate content preserves the animals, making them look like statues. Photographer Brand captures these preserved creatures, showing a scary sight more than a beautiful one. The lake's alkaline water also supports salt marshes, wetlands, flamingos, other birds, and fish. Even though the lake looks fascinating, seeing all those dead animals turned into statues is frightening. Number 12. The fascinating alien sky blue stone. Scientists found special blue stones in 1990. They thought these stones might have been beings from the sky turned into rocks by God because they did something wrong. Angelo Pon, a scientist, found these stones. Experts in Rome, Germany, and Tokyo studied them. The stones had oxygen, carbon, lime, and other things in them. They looked like concrete or colored stone. They seemed to come from outside Earth, maybe arriving here thousands of years ago. People have different ideas about these stones. Some think they were made by a really smart group that got lost in time. Others think they're from a planet far away. No one knows for sure where these stones came from. They're different from any other gemstone we knew about before and a very strange discovery. Number 11. Seven-colored Earth of Chamarel. The rainbow has many colors, but in Africa, there's a special place called the Seven-Colored Earths in Mauritius. It's a small area where you can see all 7 colors of the rainbow together. This place is unique because most people think dirt is only brown, but here you'll find red, brown, violet, green, blue, purple, and yellow dirt all in one spot. These amazing colors come from a rare mix of different things, like volcanic activity that happened a long time ago. Lots of tourists come to see these colorful dunes, surrounded by forests. It's a mystery how these colors stay separate and don't mix, even with heavy rain. Scientists are still trying to figure it out. The colored Earth of Chamarel is a famous tourist spot in Mauritius, but people can't climb on the dunes. There's a fence to keep them safe, while they enjoy the view from special spots made for watching. This place is truly beautiful and fascinating to see. Number 10. Underwater Waterfall Delusion. If you love traveling, you've probably seen amazing waterfalls like Niagara Falls or the stunning Firefall in Yosemite National Park. But have you heard about an underwater waterfall? It's not a real waterfall, it just looks like one when you're above the water. This special illusion happens near a young island called Macius. The island is on a shelf in the ocean, and from its shore, there's a slope that suddenly drops 2.5 meters into the sea. Different shades of blue appear because of the sand and silky stuff moving on these slopes. The waterfall effect is actually made by sand and silt sliding down this slope and then falling into the deep part of the ocean. It looks like a waterfall, but it's not real water falling. It's tough to see this amazing sight from the shore, but if you get up high, like in a helicopter, you can see what seems like flowing water. Tourists can take helicopter rides to see this incredible illusion, and it's truly breathtaking. Number 9. The Namibian Fairy Circles. For many years, scientists have been studying weird circles in the Namib Desert in Africa. These circles are called fairy circles, and they're like empty patches with plants around them. They cover a large area and make the landscape look spotted, like a dress with dots. Local stories say gods made them by leaving their footprints, but scientists think it's more about math and biology than myths. Biologists and math experts have tried to understand these circles for a long time. They've suggested different reasons for how they form. Some say it's because plants in the desert compete for water, making gaps between them. Others discovered termite homes under each circle. Now, scientists think both plant competition and termite homes together create these circles. These patterns aren't just pretty, they might tell us about how the desert works. Scientists are still figuring it out and don't have a definite answer yet. It's an ongoing project to understand these circles and what they mean for the environment. Number 8. The Fantasy Coffins. Different people see death in different ways. In Africa, there are special coffin makers who create amazing things related to it. These coffin makers are unique because they make coffins that look like ships, buildings, animals, cars, and more. They do this for people who think life continues after death and that the person who passed away will keep doing their job in the afterlife. The idea behind these special coffins is that when someone is buried in a coffin that represents their job, they'll remember where they came from and what they did in life. Making these fantasy coffins is a serious job in Ghana. People from other countries pay between $5,000 and $115,000 for these coffins, while locals pay up to $1,000. The Garan community in Ghana believes strongly in life after death. Number 7. 3.7 million year old human. A really old footprint from a human ancestor was found in Tanzania. It's about 3.7 million years old. Scientists got super interested in it. The footprint is about 10 inches long. It seems like some kind of human walked on 2 legs in a place covered by ash from a volcano. The ash turned the steps into rock over time. At first, people thought it looked like a bear's footprint, but after studying it carefully for many years, they realized it was actually from an unknown early human species. This species was walking around the same time as another kind of human. The footprint suggests this early human had a big toe and walked in a special way with their feet crossing over. Some people walk like this on bumpy ground or to keep their balance. Scientists are sure it wasn't a bear that made the footprint, but they're still figuring out which human species it belonged to. This discovery hints that different kinds of early humans might have lived at the same time. There's still a lot more to learn about our human family tree. Number 6. The City of Stones. You might know about famous cities like Paris, known as the City of Lights, or Venice, known as the City of Love. But in Africa, there's a fascinating place called the City of Stones, near modern-day Masvingo in Zimbabwe. People called the Shonal lived there from the 11th to the 15th century. They left behind amazing ruins made of stones. The word Zimbabwe means stone houses in their language. These ruins have tall walls and enclosures, like big rooms, some as tall as 11 meters. These stone walls were built without any mortar, like glue, which is pretty amazing. The city was the capital of a trading empire and had different parts, like the hill complex used for religious purposes. Another part was the Great Enclosure, a big circular area, and there were also ruins in the valleys where thousands of people lived in mud brick houses. These ruins are so important that UNESCO, an organization that protects important places, listed Great Zimbabwe as a World Heritage Site in 1986. But when Europeans first saw these ruins, they stole things from there and said it was too advanced to be built by African people. They claimed it was built by non-Africans like Phoenicians. Despite all that, Great Zimbabwe remains a significant part of Africa's history and culture. Number 5. Lady Jaw for decades. Scientists have been looking for old bones from Africa to learn about the very first people. They didn't find many bones from a really important time between 3 and 2.5 million years ago. Then, they found a jawbone that's about 2.8 million years old. It was a big discovery in 2013 by a team led by a scientist from Arizona State University. They said this jawbone belonged to one of the earliest humans that eventually became like us. When they studied the jawbone, they saw that it had some advanced features like slim teeth and a jaw that's similar to ours. But it also had a chin that looked more like an ape's, even though there's not a lot of information about the time when this jawbone existed. Finding it has made scientists excited. It's helped them go back further in our family tree and gives them hope to learn more about how humans evolved. Number 4. The Mystery Spheres. The Clarksdorp spheres are strange metal balls that many groups are curious about. Christian and Hindu creationists are especially interested. These balls are dark reddish-brown and flat, and they come in different sizes, from tiny to about 10 centimeters wide. Some have 3 lines around the middle. Experts say these metal balls are about 3 billion years old, way before intelligent life existed on Earth. They hint that smart beings might have been around before humans. Some think these balls formed naturally, like when soft stuff fills gaps between rock layers and makes a round shape over time. People argue a lot about these mystery balls, but they're still a cool find worth exploring. Number 3. Eye of Sahara. The blue eye of the Sahara, also called the Richat structure, looks like a huge target in the Sahara Desert. It's about 40 kilometers wide and can be found in a place called Mauritania. For a long time, only a few groups of wandering people knew about it. In the 1960s, astronauts took the first pictures of it while they were in space. They used it as a point to see how close they were to landing. At first, scientists thought the Eye of the Sahara was a big hole made by something hitting the ground from space. But after studying the rocks there, they found out it wasn't from space at all. It's actually a dome in the Earth with rocks that are super old, like more than 100 million years old. In the far-off future, it might get covered by sand and dust. People who go there might just see a windy desert hiding one of the coolest things on our planet. Number 2. Giraffe with a crooked neck. Jamina was a giraffe at the Santa Barbara Zoo, known for her bent neck. People from all over the world were curious about her. Some stories said she got hurt when she was brought from Africa. Others thought she was born that way, but the zoo says she was born normally in San Diego. Her neck started bending after she came to Santa Barbara because of some bone growth. Jamina wasn't in pain because of her crooked neck, but it was due to weak joints. Sadly, she passed away when she was 21 because of an illness no one knew about. Number 1. The White Lady of Africa. The White Lady is a drawing on a big rock inside Brandberg Mountain. People have been puzzled by it for a long time. In 1917, a German geologist named Reinhard Mark found it while he was exploring the mountain. The drawing shows many human figures and animals on a rock. The most detailed human figure is the White Lady. Other human figures in the drawing are less detailed and mostly black or white. The drawing seems to have a special meaning. Some animals have human parts or faces. This might show a connection between different worlds. It might represent a healer going into a trance to ask for rain and good hunting for their people. The drawing was probably made using ochre, charcoal, manganese, and hematite. People might have used things like blood serum, egg white, and casein to help the colors stick. Experts think the drawing is about 1,000 to 2,000 years old. We don't know much about the painting's origin, but it's a special and unusual discovery. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Feel free to leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below.